Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Divinely Guided podcast. If you are new here, my name is Carly Nicole, and I am your spiritual tour guide to the other side. For those who already watched the premiere episode, I want to first start off by saying that I am truly grateful of all the love and the active support that I have and continue to receive starting this podcast. This is such an amazing passion that I get to put out there into the world and share my voice and help others on their journey along the way. And I just wanted to give a big thank you for all of those who are here in this moment. Really quickly, I just wanted to address something. If you notice, I sound different. I came down with a head cold for the third time. If I sound congested or nasally, or I'm doing a lot more nose sniffling, heads up, because that is the reason why. Today's episode is called Taking Off the Rose-Colored Glasses. We will talk about universal law, universal mind, universal thoughts, universal consciousness. We'll touch on synchronicities and speaking with our ancestors and how they protect and guide us along our path in the second half of the episode. That's right, you heard correct. This is going to be a two-parter because we have to get very in-depth. This conversation will go deep. Make sure you set aside some time. We will also have a special guest in our second half of our episode, so please stay tuned for that. Today, we will be learning about 3 of the universal laws. There are a total of 12. The law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, and the law of attraction, which in turn has to do with our minds, thoughts, and consciousness. Let's begin with the law of vibration. What we send out into the world with our energy can have either a positive or a negative vibe. There is a frequency that each person is radiating here on this planet within their own magnetic field, which is a part of the reason why you may receive compliments that sound like, "Love your energy." "I like your vibe. You make me feel safe. You feel so warm." Others, those who surround us, can feel us, our energetic state of being. And of course, we shouldn't care about others' opinions of us. It's none of our business. But when I started on this journey, I wasn't the nicest person. I made people fearful. When I came around, it felt like people were walking on eggshells. They felt like that they couldn't express themselves and their feelings. It made me feel like, damn, I really need to work on that. I really don't want to be that person who is pushing people away or who is carrying a negative vibe, or the people that I cared about during that time, how it was affecting them. I started to really think deeply about doing better for myself. So when I tell you the moment I was receiving these compliments about my energy, that's when I knew that everything that I was doing for myself, it was paying off. Of course, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but no, again, we don't want to seek the validation from others, but it is nice that we get that reassurance from those and complete strangers. We know who we are. We know how hard we work. The things that I went through, the person who I was before is now developing, and we're learning. I'm gaining character development. I'm actually growing, and I don't have this gray cloud that's above me carrying all this negativity around with me anymore. People can actually see that I can be rainbows and sunshine, and that I actually have an inviting energy. People want to be around me, and they don't feel that I'm rubbing them the wrong way. But that is also something that we have to be careful about, because the moment we start to radiate a higher frequency and we just keep going, we also attract a lot of unhealed and broken people. And in the next episode, we will get more into detail, and we will go further into the types of protection and how to help yourself or call upon your ancestors to keep you safe from those types of low vibrational energies. Moving forward with the next law, cause and effect. Everything we are doing is affecting us in the long run for our future. The choices that we make today, they are either setting us up for a brighter future or a midlife crisis. We want to be sure that when we are making these decisions and we are following through with a commitment, that they are actually helping us get to where we need to be and have a positive effect. And unfortunately, not only does it affect us in the long run, but it also affects everything and person around us, choosing to walk away from friendships, family members, or even that coworker, whoever is being very disruptive. But you have to stand on those boundaries. Sometimes you might even need to stomp, but definitely save your energy if these people are not willing to meet you where you are, or even begin to understand where you are coming from, then you will be wasting your breath, your energy, and your time. Some people just choose to solely have it out for you, or purposely just don't want to understand because they don't understand themselves. You can't ask those around you to be there for you if they don't even know how to be there for themselves. They don't know how to love themselves. They don't know how to respect themselves. There are no boundaries there. They lack the commitment and the discipline. So what do? Which brings us to the next topic, law of attraction. When we let go of our past, people, places, and things that we hold a very tight attachment to, we grow and improve our blessings so that we don't become the real reason that we are blocking our own blessings. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are the ones who are keeping ourselves in this position. We are the ones that are giving ourselves the evil eye and blocking. We are blocked, and now we need to move forward. Those of us who are angry all the time, believe me, I would know. I've been there and I've experienced and have gone through the anger, the hate. We're holding resentment. And we're holding grudges against not only others, but ourselves. I think the greatest advice I ever heard was from a man in a video I found, I believe, on TikTok. He was speaking to his audience about carrying around all the heavy baggage of everything and everyone. When we remember that at any time, we can just drop the weight. We can literally free ourselves of everything that is holding and weighing us down, especially when it isn't our burden to carry. Removing old energy to make room for new and exciting opportunities is important to the human experience. When we can learn to be thankful and give gratitude for those who come into our lives, learning lessons, whether it's multiple times, because unfortunately, we tend to put ourselves through very hurtful and damaging situations, adding more trauma to our mental, emotional, and even our physical health. Sometimes we have to go through a situation 10 times or 20 times. Everyone is on a different path. We are not all on the same frequency. It can take time before we recognize that in order to become truly happier, that we have to let it go. We have to let that person go. We have to let those attachments go. That we just have to remove people, places, and things in order to move forward. The law of attraction is embracing now, embracing what is for us, embracing the present moment, the optimistic points of views. And again, not every day can be a great day, but if we focus too much on all of the negative things that we continue to beat ourselves up about, whatever that may be, that's got us going crazy and overthinking and worrying in our minds, how can we expect to do better and get better if we aren't able and willing to try, if we aren't able and willing to fight for everything that we truly deserve? That comes with learning yourself, trusting yourself, and believing that no matter what or where you are in life, it is going to get better. That it is just a moment of negative emotions that we have to move through. We have to feel, process, and accept in order to rid ourselves of this tension that's building up. It's all about cleansing ourselves of this heavy energy in order to prosper so that we aren't blocking what is truly for us. The natural energy flow of abundance that is supposed to be gravitating towards us. So next time you're having a crash out moment, I encourage you to let it happen. It's probably best if you just let it all out. Feel it and accept it. It is what it is, but it is also what is in your control. Let it go, let God or let universe or whatever it is that you believe, but believe in yourself always. If there is a will, there is a way. You don't need to worry about not knowing when it's going to come, how it's going to happen. I might not have all the resources yet. I don't have all the answers. What if it doesn't turn out great? What if it turns out amazing? What if everything that you've ever wanted is literally right behind that door that you're afraid to open? Because sometimes when we're too busy trying to search for the answers right away, That's not going to happen. We have to learn. And eventually, sometimes we get the answers later on in life. And then we look back and we have that aha moment. A lot of the times, the answer is literally right in front of you, but you are ignoring it. It's literally right inside of you. Everything you ever need is always inside. So continue to trust that. Whatever it is that you are doing for yourself, that you are making the right decision for yourself. Only you know you, but we do have to be willing to see what is right in front of us. When they talk about opening your third eye, they mean everything isn't always as it seems. Like I mentioned in the last episode, it is all about awakening to yourself, the truth, getting into alignment, becoming balanced, and stepping into the energy of your highest self. Remember that in order to get to where you want to be, you must move in that energy. If you need to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and do what you got to do, go to the gym, study, read, meditate, wash your clothes, you have to be willing to work that 5 to 9 before your 9 to 5. And of course, again, it looks different for everyone. Only you know what you need to be doing. Only you know your truth and what is your purpose. It is deep down within you, and you have to be willing to go there. I can only tell you that when I learned to be more self-aware, that brought so much clarity. So learn yourself, become more self-aware, recognize what you're doing, how you're speaking, and your thoughts, especially who you surround yourself with. And everything really just starts to open up. Breaking the veil is what I call it. So my rose-colored glasses came off right after I found out that I was pregnant back in 2019. I knew that bringing a child into this world, that I was going to have to get brutally honest with myself, and that I was going to have to work hard on bettering myself. I started to see and look in the mirror every day and realize that I was hurting and that I had all this hatred for myself deeply. Hurt people. I definitely needed to fix and change a lot within myself. The whole me versus me thing, that is absolutely true. I started to experience spiritual warfare. For those who might not understand what spiritual warfare is or denotes, that acronym stands for Dark Night of the Soul. It is very heavy negative energy, generational trauma, your triggers, facing your deepest, darkest fears. And it comes to the forefront, and there's nowhere to run but at them. And you even meet malevolent, unhuman-like energies walking this earth, people, places, and things that test your faith within you, wanting you to slip up, breaking character, or making you fall back into your own ways of comfortability so that you keep choosing those horrible habits. Those lower level energies try to break you down. But in order to get to the light, we must run around in the dark first, and we have to be willing to fight. Okay, here we are, day 2 of recording. I thought it'd be better to break it up on a day where I feel even more energized to get in here and speak. Unfortunately, my voice is going in and out. It's great one moment, it's bad the next, so rest is very important. After everything that I've spoken to you all about, for those who are in here actually paying attention, after the first episode dropped, we just were hungry for more. We want to know more about what we can do to help ourselves. Like I mentioned earlier in this episode, sometimes we just don't always get the answers right when we want them. We get them when we need them, okay? I will now be going over the topic about ego and higher self. I'm going to be looking at my notes because I don't want to get sidetracked. When you live through your ego, is the same sense as being overly prideful. Your ego self lives in a victim mentality, scarcity mindset, sees making mistakes, and complains about absolutely everything. When you are in alignment with your highest self, this is how your energy will be. Takes accountability to create a different reality. Abundance mindset, sees lessons, grateful and finds joy in the little moments. Ego keeps us in a fear-based mentality. Why is this a bad thing? When you are moving towards your higher self, when you're trying to get to a better life and a better future for yourself, what's going on is everything that was placed upon you during your childhood, all the generational trauma that got put on by your parents' parents and their parents and la da da. It just goes down the line until it hits you. There are a lot of people now currently that are trying to move forward and break this generational trauma. This is very important. When you're the black sheep of your family, when you feel like, I don't think I belong, or I don't understand that point of view, or why are we stuck in the past? Why can't we move forward? It's 2025, people. There are tons of different methods out there. There is no one size fits all when it comes to the healing journey in this process of getting you to your higher self and walking with your higher self. Everything that is ego-based within inside of you, again, those fears, if you let them take control, you are letting the negative parts of you take the wheel of your entire life. Don't be the backseat driver to your life. You're in the driver's seat. Like, you need to get up in there, press the pedal, and floor it. You know, I truly believe that everyone is going to learn eventually what it means to be in the driver's seat. But when you are going through life and you are seeing things in such a negative, ego-based state, it's a very pessimistic way of living. When in due time, they start to see that everything in their childhood, every little trauma that led them to even just being here right now, just listening to this podcast, all the habits, everything that you haven't broken, the karmatic cycles, the things that you continue to keep putting yourself through during this ego phase and ego self that you're allowing to let take a hold of you entirely, running in the dark. Those who have recognized if they do run from self. We run, we hide, we ignore, and I feel that there just comes a time when you can't turn the other way. That door's locked. You can't bang on that door and try to break it open and go backwards in life. You have to be okay with the rebrand, the rebirth of yourself. What is so absolutely important that I've learned on this journey about ego death. This is a kicker right here. When you have an ego death, the shedding of old skins, of old past, it is just unbelievable. The clarity that you have when you reach a higher frequency, you think, wow, you look back and you're like, damn, if only I would have known that sooner. No, the point of you being here in this moment right now is that you are learning it when you need to know it. You are where you need to be 100% of the time, all the time. I think what's very interesting about being in ego and understanding that when it comes to relationships with people, the more you look at all the damage that has been done to you and you're hurting, you start to realize you're hurting people. There are some people out here that do enjoy watching others suffer because of their own internal suffering. And why do I agree with that? Because I was one of them. Sitting here and being very open and honest with everyone, because transparency is the absolute. Real recognizes real. I could spot lies from a mile away. I've learned how to hyperfixate on people. I have learned how to navigate a certain way of living because I was living in such a ego victim state. I was in survival mode. Those of you who can relate to having anxiety, stress, feeling like you're go, can't stop, that the pressure is constantly on. The only person that has the power to take all of that away is you. When we learn the base of our ego, when we understand that, or those parts of us, we can now cross over and get to our higher self. So again, our higher selves, they take accountability. They want to work through things. When we show up fully committed and ready to work, not only for just ourselves, but for those who surround us. We don't look at life half glass empty. We look at life half glass full. And eventually, when we start to pour into our own glass, when we water ourselves, that's when our truest, highest self starts to come forward. We put in the energy that was being thrown away and lost into, like I said, pointless people, places, and things. Now, to the people that are listening who have had tarot card readings from me, you know who you are. I always tell them one thing in particular when it comes to true abundance. When I was in one of my Reiki healing sessions, I discovered what true abundance is. It's going to sound so insane. The true meaning of abundance is happiness. Shocker. It's not materialistic things. Once we reach soul's purpose, once we start finding true happiness, being ourselves authentically, naturally, that is when true abundance starts to flow. Because, and get this, when you are walking in alignment with your highest self, you know how to attract and how to let everything come forward to you. But what is really going on here? What is actually happening within inside of me? What is this amazing feeling, this energy, unexplainable, right? When we get divinely inspired by others, when we can sit there and feel this boost of serotonin, dopamine, all of these things that give us the chills. How is this possible? What is that exactly? My friends, I'm here to tell you and talk to you about universal mind, universal consciousness, and universal thought. Now, what I do want to say is, again, the information that I have received comes from Joseph Nguyen. I know a lot of us feel like we don't have the time to sit down and read books, but when I tell you that there is so much knowledge within the books that you pass up every single day. This book, again, I will continue to highly recommend it because shoot, if Joseph Nguyen ever hears this, Joseph Nguyen, if you're here listening to this podcast, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for divinely inspiring me to do what it is that I've been wanting to do for such a long time, which is continue my purpose and lead people, lead those back home to themselves. And with the information that he has given out in his books, I will repeat it. So once again, what I've learned is from him. Quote from the book, "Universal mind is the intelligence of every single living being. It is life force. It is an energy. Everything has a vibrational state. Everything has a magnetic field. The intelligence that knows how to do, like how we know how to breathe, how when a seed is planted, it knows how to grow. And when it grows and sprouts, it knows how to get direct sunlight. There's never been a separation between these things. It is within everyone, this life force. So again, everything that you need to know is literally within you. But going back to ego, this natural state of being, like earlier on when I had talked about we block our own blessings. Yes, because of ego-based things that do more harm to us and affect us in the long run when we just want to continue going up and higher to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Universal consciousness is what allows us to have collective knowing and thoughts. This is what makes life life. This is what gives us an experience. And universal thought is what we create. It's literally raw material from universe. Here's us, here's our mind, here's universe. When we get divinely inspired, the energy that is flowing for this thought, boom, it just automatically comes into our head. Like for an example, how scientists continue to question certain things about their study or about their project that they are working on. The solution that they try to figure out, they are deeply invested in their research. They are deeply invested with their knowing who they are. And scientists sit there and have such a trial and error. They fail and fail, but that divine inspiration, those thoughts, that is true connection. That is when we are connected to source, our highest self, to God. Like I said, whatever it is that you believe, as long as you believe in yourself. And this is basically what's known as life's existence. All three of these, the invisible force that keeps everything together and working properly and functioning. These are the three things: universal thought, universal mind, and universal consciousness. You can meditate. Taking moments of silence helps you clear your mind. Basically, what we're trying to avoid is the overthinking. Thinking is different from thought. Thinking is the ego, just a tornado spinning around in our head. We have to learn to silence and control within our own minds. Taking a step back whenever you possibly can. I'm a full-time mom, and some days are better than others. Always make sure that you get that time for yourself. Set aside less than 5 minutes to just sit there and breathe. Even just breathing and focusing on your breath work. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I never used to think that breath work was important until I came across someone in my journey who taught me that breath work was one of the easiest forms on how to calm anxiety and learn how to control those worries, those anxious feelings inside of you. When you can find the time to actually get out in nature and just be one with the grass, the plants. I know it sounds very hippie, but nature is literally natural. It is the state of what is. There are no imperfections. Choosing a hike, go to Joshua Tree or Yosemite is possibly one of the best things that you can do for yourself. It's good for your mental health to get out and feel the breeze. Vitamin D is so important. A lot of us don't realize that we need some sun, a natural energy source, which is very simple to do if you can find the time. But when it comes to this self-love journey, you have to find the time. You have to work it in there. You need to make it a priority. You are number one, regardless of anyone in your life. For me, again, full-time mom, what am I gonna do if I'm not 100 or at least at 80%? If mama isn't happy, then baby isn't happy. If your mind isn't happy, well, your body's not happy. Your mind and body's not happy, well, your soul's not happy. What do? We get to work. We start to look inside. We start to dig deep. We ask ourselves the whys. This is another form of self-help. If you cannot figure out the answer, you need to continue to keep asking yourself why. And that looks like, well, why are you angry? I don't know. Well, why don't you know? Because I don't know. Why? Well, maybe because I'm upset. Why are you upset? Well, I'm upset because I was running late to work. Well, why were you running late to work? Because there was traffic. I didn't leave in enough time because I sat around on my phone too long and I procrastinated. Until you hit those little bullet points and you lead yourself to that answer, continue to keep asking yourself why. It does seem a little tedious and it can get annoying, but that's the whole point of this exercise. You want to stir up these feelings inside of you, because if you don't, how are you going to ever let them out? For those who have a very hard time expressing emotions, overall, just expressing themselves, getting what they need out, whether that be you're too shy to go up and talk to somebody about how you feel, or you're trying to ask your boss for a new promotion. Eventually, what will happen is anger, frustration. It will get pent up. It'll create a fire inside of you. It will start to build. So then you start adding more baggage and weight until that you finally get to unblock your throat chakra and say what you need to say. You will always feel never understood. If you have a hard time with being understood, I need you to listen. Have you ever gotten to understand yourself truly and deeply? Have you ever taken the time to sit there and ask yourself, what is it that I need right now? What do I need from myself? How can I help myself in this time right now? You know what? I recognize that I'm triggered. I recognize I'm going through something that's very deep. Let me sit with this. Let me figure it out. That is pure growth. When you can see and know that you need to take a time out, that you need to set aside things to regulate the system, which we will get into in another episode, then the battle is over and you are winning the war within yourself. There's this song, I don't know if there's any Linkin Park OG fans. There's a song called Fighting Myself. I swear to you, okay, Chester hits it right on the nail, okay? Because when you listen to that song, it's in the title, Fighting Yourself. You are literally doing absolutely everything you can to not move forward, to block everything out, to just ignore and to pretend like nothing's happening. No, you can't pretend like nothing is happening. Unless you want to get to the age of 40 and you're having a midlife crisis there, you might as well awaken now and have your midlife crisis now. And then that way, as you continue on your self-love journey, your life's journey, you can move through correctly with the habits that are actually healthier and benefiting you, rather than all of the things that you needed to leave behind in survival mode as a child. Sometimes, some of us, we are still the age of our earliest trauma. And I know that that's going to hit a lot of you. There's a lot of self-work to do with this podcast. And I really, truly believe that the time has come where I must end the episode. And thank you all for joining. I'm so excited for part 2. I cannot wait to get my special guest in here just to yap and yap. Stay tuned because you are not going to want to miss that episode. To be continued. Thank you again all for joining me here during this moment of listening. But that's the end of today's episode. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode here on Spotify. I am also on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. My name is Carly Nicole, and this was Divinely Guided.